Hello guys, welcome to Cafe at Simplify. Today we are diving into our economics objectives, and kindly remember to subscribe and click the bell. There are also other previous objectives that you should go through in other videos, and so we'll go through all these together. The first one is this table you are seeing having quantity, total revenue, and total cost. And the question says from the above table, the profit maximizing quantity is. So when you look at such a table, it might look so confusing, tough, but it's extremely very simple. What we actually have to do is they want the profit maximizing quantity. So the profit maximizing quantity is the difference between the total revenue and the total cost. So you're just going to get this minus this, 0 minus 3 like that. 0 minus 3, negative 3, 5 minus 5, until 10 minus 6, 15 minus 8. So here you realize that when we calculate all that, we get the highest quantities 999. Then here they keep on reducing in quantities. So that means that quantity 4, we have 9, it is a high maximizing quantity. The profit maximizing quantity is 9 at quantity 4, and also at quantity 5, and also at quantity 6. So in our objectives, we don't have 9, we don't have 4, but we have 6. Therefore, our answer is C. We come to question for consumer utility. So we are now looking at this question number 2. First one, they are saying from this diagram, we have revenue, and cost per unit, and then decide quantity. Assume the firm maximizes profits. What is the amount of the consumer surplus? This is a very simple number, you can all manage it. So 41, what is the amount of consumer surplus when the firm is maximizing profits? So to calculate the consumer surplus in a monopolistic market, the consumer surplus is always the area under the demand curve. This is the demand curve, the way you're seeing it here coming like this. So the area under the demand curve, but above the price the monopolist charges. So how do we find the price the monopolist charges? It is represented by the triangle representing the consumer surplus, and the consumer surplus can be estimated by looking at figure 2. Now when you look at this figure 2, we realize that the price at which the monopolist maximizes profit is 24. This is the price. So because remember, from all these demand curves, we consider these demand curves, they should be meeting the demand curve, because that is when price is determined, but first of demand and supply. So we have quantity and then the demand. So once all these points B, G, C are out of our equations, okay, are out of. So now you look at here, you look at this point 62, consider point A, and the price is 24. Consider 83, and the price is 22. And then we consider 104, and the price is 20.08. So from the figure, the price at which the monopolist maximizes profit, it is 24. If you look very well, okay, corresponding to quantity 62 in units. This is the quantity. So from the consumer surplus, we know it is got from estimating now this area, because we are saying consumer surplus is the area below the demand curve, but above the price which above which the producer charges. So it is from here 24 up to 30. So it is this triangle here at where he's maximizing profit. So the consumer surplus will be a half times base. What is our base? From here 0 to 62. Then times our height. Our height is from here to here. That means we get 30 minus 24. That's why we have a half times base times height, giving us a half times our base is 62. I think you all see that. Then times our height, which is got by 30 minus 24. And we get 186 exactly, which is C. So we come to 42. What's the amount of consumer surplus if instead of monopoly, the industry was organized as a perfectly competitive industry? You know very well that for perfectly competitive industries, what will happen that so many farmers will join because they are realizing this guy is making profit at point A. When they join, quantity supplied will increase. I think you will know that very well. So what actually happens is that in a perfectly competitive industry, the consumer surplus will be large, like when the quantity supplied will increases, because now everyone is supplying, the consumers, it's with the consumers benefit. Think that one we are together. The price would and and the consumer surplus would become larger because the price would equal to marginal cost. So we find out at what point is price equal to marginal cost, and we see this marginal cost. So the price is 22, and then the quantity demanded is 83. And I think from here we can see that now the consumer surplus has increased from here to here up to this point. However, for the consumer, he kept when it's willing to pay 30 because this is at zero demand. You see there the 30. And this is the explanation here. And the figure the price under perfect competition is the intersection of marginal cost and the demand curve, where the price is 22 here and the quantity demanded is 83. I think you see this 22 corresponds to 83. The price consumers are willing to pay, however, is still 30 because that is where we have quantity equals to 0. So using the same now triangle, now we're using this triangle for here up to here like this. So it is a half times base times height. Our base has now enlarged up to 83 times our height 30 minus 22. And we get a half times base times height, which is 32, which is D. So making D the best answer. We come to our remaining objectives here. Given the consumer buys two oranges and gains total utility of 400, and when he increases to 6 oranges, his utility increases to 1000. Given that he's at equilibrium, the price of oranges in shillings at that level is, so this is marginal utility, and we covered this that for a consumer to attain equilibrium, the marginal utility should be equal to the price. That one is very important to note. That's how we can cast this number. And so when the marginal utility of discussing this number, which is, I think I didn't calculate it there. Okay, we'll do it down here, probably. So we see that when the demand is 2 oranges, yeah, the marginal utility is what? The gains total utility of 400. Okay, and then when the demand is 6 oranges, the the marginal utility, when the demand is 6 oranges, the marginal utility equals to 1000. So to find the price will be equals to change, price will be equal to change in quantity, change in quantity, change in the change in marginal utility. Okay, well, actually it is change in MU will be equals to, we get this 1000 minus what? Minus 400. And we get our answer as 600. Okay. Then we compute also for, but what is the change? The quantity demanded, the change in the quantity demanded is 6 minus 4, which is which is equal to which is equal to 2. So price will be equal to marginal utility. Marginal utility MU equals to total marginal utility will be equals to the total change in total utility, which is now 600 divided by quantity. And what is our change? But divided by change in quantity, which is 2, giving us answer 300. I hope it is there. Giving us the answer. I don't know if I will have calculated very well. This is 600. This is 6 minus 2 oranges. We get 6 minus 2 oranges. We get 4. 6 minus 2 oranges. We get 4. This is the change. This is the change in quantity, which is 4. And we are saying this is the change in quantity. And it is the change in quantity. Yeah. So it is the change in quantity. So marginal utility by formula equals to change, and I'll represent that change by okay, we now to represent that change in marginal utility, the price. So price will be equals to MU according to the law of equilibrium. But this MU, we know that it is equal to change in okay, but it is marginal utility which is change in this total utility, change in total utility out of change in quantity, which is 600 divided by 4. And when we get that, we get C, 150. 600 divided by 4. So our answer becomes C. Now we come to number 45, which I called here 45 here. I guess, guys, you've got that one very well. 45 says condition requires when the marginal utility of a commodity X is less than the marginal utility of Y, then equilibrium condition requires that. Now you realize that the marginal utility of this good X is less. That means when you eat more of this food, the additional satisfaction keeps on reducing. That is what they mean. The marginal utility of this good is less than marginal utility of Y. That means for Y it is still enjoyable. Then equilibrium requires that reducing consumption of Y and increasing consumption of X, increasing consumption of both, reducing consumption of X, and increasing the consumption of Y. That is 45, which is then decreasing consumption of both goods. 45 is not D. 45, the answer is C. Yeah. When the marginal utility of X is less than the marginal utility of Y, to reach equilibrium, you should decrease the consumption of the good that gives less utility and increase the consumption of the one that gives more utility. When the marginal utility of X is less than the marginal utility of Y, to reach equilibrium, you should decrease the consumption of the good that gives less utility. Which good gives us less utility? The good which gives us less utility. When the marginal utility of a commodity X, it is X. Okay? And increase the consumption of the good that gives more utility. The marginal utility of, so they are saying, so we are increasing the consumption of Y. This is a right explanation, and that matches to our answer C, because they are saying reduce consumption of X. X gives us less utility, and increase the consumption of Y. That means when the marginal utility of commodity X is less than this, this one, the additional satisfaction, this one gives you is less. So in order to reach equilibrium, you are going to increase this one when you increase the consumption of this good Y, time will reach when this one also gives you less satisfaction, and therefore they will reach equilibrium. That is the simple analysis there. Then 46, which of the following happens when the consumer income changes and he buys? 46, which of the following happens when the consumer's income changes and buys more meat? So both the end, I don't know how to pronounce this correctly, the angel curve and income consumption curve are downward sloping. It has an income consumption curve that is negatively sloped, while the angel curve is positively sloped. Both the angel curve and income curve are positively sloped. So the answer is C. 46. 46, the answer is C. Based on the curves, when you go and check this angel curve and the income consumption curve, yeah, in the books they put it Y, I, C. You see that both of them are what? Positively sloping. So then we come to 40. 47. Consider the difference map diagram with good Y on the vertical axis, okay, and good X on the horizontal axis. If the producer of good X embarks upon a successive full advertising campaign, then, yeah, then A, the value of this will decrease for any value of, let me disable my messages, yeah, increase the focusing time. So, let's say you consider the indifference map diagram with good Y on the vertical axis and good X on the horizontal axis. If the producer of good X embarks upon a successful advertising campaign, then the marginal rate of substitution of X and Y will decrease for any value of X. The consumer would be willing to sacrifice an additional unit of good X to obtain good Y. The slope of the difference curve will not be affected. This cannot be wrong. This cannot be true. The value of the marginal rate of substitution X and Y will increase for any value of X. Now they're saying on this vertical, we have good Y. On the horizontal, we have good X. What you note, if the producer is advertising for good X, which is on the horizontal, and that's upon a successful advertising campaign, then what will happen? Because on this indifference curve, they give the same level of satisfaction. Those two different points should give you the same level of satisfaction. You have no option for the other. But when they are advertising more of this good X, that means for you to get more of this good X, you have to forgo good Y. So look through our objectives. The marginal rate will decrease for any value of X. The marginal rate of substitution will decrease for any value of X. Okay, is the consumer would be willing to sacrifice additional values of good X to obtain Y. This is false and this is false, so we are left with C and the elimination method. The slope of the indifference curve will not be affected. C is also false. The marginal rate, the value of the marginal rate of substitution will increase for any value of X, to decrease. So in number 47, we come here, we see that A is the correct answer. The marginal rate of good X will decrease. The marginal rate of substitution will decrease for any value of X. So when the produce of good X is increasing advertising, the value will decrease, meaning consumers will be willing to give up on good Y so that they obtain more of good X. And I think that's what I've explained. Come to 48, if the quantity produced increases, a production function first exhibits increasing marginal product and later diminishing marginal product. The corresponding marginal cost curve will be, we come to 48, the production curve shape for increasing marginal product. As the quantity of output increases, A production function typically exhibits increasing marginal product followed by diminishing returns, which is represented by U, a U-shaped marginal cost curve. So that is the function here. If the quantity produced increases, a production function first exhibits increasing marginal product, marginal product downwards, and later diminishing marginal product. The corresponding marginal cost curve will, the corresponding marginal cost curve, we know the marginal cost curve. We have total utility, then corresponding marginal product. Be flat, horizontal, slope downward, slope upward. If the quantity produced increases, a production function first exhibits increasing marginal product. Quantity of good produced increases, yeah, true. Increasing marginal product, true. It goes downwards, and later diminishing marginal product. The corresponding marginal cost curve will be, so you can say it will be U, but look at the curve very well and also consider this, consider the slope downward option be critically. So this one I leave it with you to find out, and I think it is B, because we know that when the marginal, when we have the quantity increasing, obviously marginal product will also increase. The curve goes downwards while the, and later will diminish, but the marginal cost curve will slope downwards. Then we come to 49. The long run period is the time in which that one, by definition, it is economic efficiency is achieved. All firms maximize profits. All firms can hire all of workers it wants to employ. Quantities, it is B. The quantities of all inputs can be varied. In long time, we assume that land, even fixed factors like land, can be varied. Why? Because your output probably has increased. You have a bigger market, so the quantities of all inputs can be varied. That is B. And then lastly, which of the following statements is false? Total cost equals total fixed. Total cost equals total fixed cost plus average cost. True. Average fixed cost plus average variable cost equals to average total cost. No, this is false. Why? Because we know very well that average total cost, this average total cost equals to what? Average fixed cost plus average total cost, not variable. So the trick here is average total cost should be equals to totals, like average total cost, average fixed cost plus average, should be equal to average total cost, not plus average variable cost. So average fixed cost plus average total cost. Fixed cost plus total cost, not variable cost. That is the trick. Yeah. So thank you so much. Kindly remember to subscribe and wait for more videos.